Hello friends, welcome back to this series where I teach you how to become a Cricut expert in 10 easy projects. Today is project number 9 and holy cow, is this one going to be amazing. The reason for that is we are going to do a lot of design work within Cricut Design Space, but we are going to create the most amazing thank you greeting card that also has writing on the inside. Zero glue is needed for this project. The cool and great thing about this is I'm going to show you how to design everything from start to finish. We are seriously going to take a rectangle and we are going to turn it into this. Now, if you've been on the journey with me and you started with project 1 as a very basic beginner, this right here is now going to feel easy peasy lemon squeezy because you have followed the entire series. We have created a lot of fun stuff. Not a whole lot of custom design work, but we have created a lot of fun stuff. And today, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna take a rectangle and make it into something even cooler. For this project, the one thing that you are going to need because it makes your life so much easier is this thing right here, and it's called a scoring tool. You can get it for a couple bucks on the Zon. I'll have it linked in the description of this video. You're gonna want this. It makes it really helpful for cardstock projects. All right, let's go to the computer. We're gonna do a lot of design work today. It's not going to be hard. It's just gonna be a lot. But when we go and cut this out and then assemble, that right there is just gonna be super quick and easy. It's probably gonna take you like 30 seconds to put it all together. Now, it seriously warms my heart that you are learning how to master your Cricut, because the Cricut to me brings so much joy, and I want the Cricut for you as well to bring you so much joy. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Okay friends, the very first thing you want to do is open up a blank window in Cricut Design Space, and we are going to go over to New Project. Okay, now what you want to do is come over here into Shapes, and we are going to insert this square. All right, the next thing you want to grab is going back into Shapes, and we want to add in this score line. Now what you need to do is determine the size card that you want to create. Now for me, what I want is a card that when it's folded, it is going to be 4 by 6. So what you need to do is double the width because we are going to fold it in half. So clicking on this square, we want to make sure that this right here is unlocked. And I want my card when it's folded to be 4 inches. So I need to double the width. So it needs to be 8 inches wide. And then my height just needs to be 6 inches because I want my final card when it's folded to be 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall. I am going to be using my light pink cardstock found in my cardstock warehouse for the majority of my card. So what I want to do is taking this right here, this little charcoal swatch, I'm going to click on it. And now I'm going to change it over to light pink. If you are using a different color cardstock, change it to the color of cardstock that you're going to be using. When you have the color selected, then all you want to do is click out of the box. Now what we need to do is taking our score line, we need to copy and paste. With this score line, what I want to do is I want to make the height of this the same height as my card height. So for me, my card height is 6 inches. So for this score line, I also want this to be 6 inches. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to drag and select the 6-inch score line plus my rectangle. I'm going to come up here into a line and then a line to the center. So now when we cut this out, this little line right here is going to be our fold line. And one side's going to be the front and the other side is where we're going to put our writing. Now with every other project that has been in this series, we have not used one important feature of Cricut Design Space, and that is this slice feature. And we're gonna use that today. We're gonna use it a lot actually. I'm so excited. All right, so what you want to do now is insert a text box, and you can put any text that you want. I frankly am just going to do thank you, and I am going to choose a font. So we're going to come up here into the font, and I'm going to choose a nice big thick font. You could choose a cursive font for this project, but I'm going to keep it easy, and I'm just going to do a thick font. So for me, I'm going to use this font right here, which is a Cricut Access font. Now what I'm going to do is I want my lines to the thank you to be a little bit closer. So I'm just going to go to Advanced and then Ungroup to Lines. Now what I'm going to do is selecting my U. I'm going to just drag it up closer to thank until I get the spacing that I like. When I like that, what I'm going to do is selecting both thank you, making sure it is spelled correctly. We are going to right click, combine, and then weld. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thank you and I'm going to put it over here to the right hand side. The right hand side when you're designing cards is always going to be the front of your card. And I'm just going to make this bigger. And I'm going to put it down towards the bottom. You want to make sure that thank you is in the middle of this edge right here and your score line. We're just going to eyeball that, like it. Okay, I'm going to leave it here because what I want to do is add like a cute little element to also the front of my card. So what I'm going to do is go into images, and everyone knows Ashley Falco loves a good rainbow. So I'm just going to put in rainbow in the search field and press return. Okay, I am going to use this rainbow today. Remember earlier in a previous video, I showed you this hashtag number. It will also be in the description of this video. So if you wanted to create the exact same card as me, all you would need to do is copy this number and paste it into the search field, and then you'll be able to use the same rainbow as I'm using. When you have found the same rainbow that I'm using, all you want to do is press the plus sign, and then we're going to press view. Okay, it is okay that this is a different color than my thank you because we're going to change that here in a second. But all I'm going to do now at this point is I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and I want to place this over the top of thank you. Okay, when I have it spaced the way that I like, what I'm going to do is select my welded thank you, shift on my keyboard, and also that rainbow. I'm going to make sure that these are aligned perfectly. So I'm just going to come up here to align and then align horizontally. So you can see it shifted just a little bit for me. That's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this and I'm going to press combine and then weld. So now it's all one color. So I want to make sure that this clip art right here is in the middle vertically of my card. So I'm going to select on my clip art, shift on my keyboard, and I'm also going to select my pink rectangle. And I'm going to go align and then align vertically. So you can see it shifted down a little bit for me. That means that what we have on our screen right now, this clip art is completely center onto our card. Now what I want to do is I want to select both pieces. I'm going to select my pink rectangle and also my clip art. And I'm going to come down here and press slice. When that happens, you are going to see over here on the layers box that you have this right here as a slice result. You can delete that. We don't need it. And then you're going to have one more. You can delete this as well because you don't need it. Now what I want to do is taking this rectangle and I'm going to drag it to the very bottom. So now I can see my score line. Now what we want to do here is create that peekaboo with that holographic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back into shapes and I'm going to insert a square. I'm going to change this square over to a color that I love using for holographic cardstock. So what I'm going to do is selecting this charcoal box and I'm going to select blue, and I am going to make this super light blue. I love using a light blue to remind me that it's going to be holographic. If you use a different color, you just want to make sure and remember that this right here is going to be holographic cardstock when you go to cut this out. Now what I want to do is I want to make this square larger than my cutout. So it's going to fill up my entire cutout, just like that. If your rectangle does not cover your entire cutout, you're going to have issues because your holographic sheet won't cover your entire cutout. So you want to make sure that this is completely covering your entire cutout. Just to make sure that this rectangle is nice and centered vertically onto our card, I'm going to select both pieces, our pink rectangle and also our holographic cardstock, and we're going to align this vertically. So you can see for me, it's shifted up a little bit. That's okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take this duplicated score line and we want to change this from score to cut. So we're going to come to basic cut because we want to just put in some little slits into the front of our card so we don't have to use any glue for this project. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it over here and I'm going to zoom in for this next step. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this smaller and I'm going to rotate this 45 degrees. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to the corner of my holographic cardstock. So do you see how it is just on the corner? Now if you wanted to make this a little bit smaller, you totally could. You can just make this smaller and we're going to put it nice and even throughout. I love that. So then what we want to do is taking this cut line, we want to copy and paste. So Command C, Command V. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to flip and I'm going to flip this horizontal. So now it's going to go in the opposite direction. That's perfect. Now I'm just going to bring this and put this on the other corner. Now just to make sure that your lines are nice and straight and even, because you can tell with mine that there is not a whole lot here and a whole lot here. We can come over here to the layers box and select both of the lines, align these to the top. So that just ensures that we have it completely aligned to the top. Now when we have that, we can Command G, which is group. You also could right click and press group. And I want to make sure that these two lines are centered onto this rectangle. So I'm going to press Shift on my keyboard. Having our lines selected, we're going to press our holographic cardstock. And now we are going to align this horizontal. So now I know for a fact my lines are centered to my holographic cardstock, but also they are nicely aligned top and bottom. So everything is symmetrical over here on the right. Okay, we need to do the same exact thing for the bottom. So I'm going to take my grouped score lines and I'm going to copy and paste, Command C, Command V. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to flip and I'm going to flip these vertically. So now they're going in the opposite direction, which is perfect because we are going to place this down here at the bottom. And same thing we've done before, we are going to take these lines, shift on our keyboard. I'm going to click on the top ones and I want to make sure that these are centered. So I'm just going to come up here to align and let me just do a line to the left. So now my bottom ones are center onto my holographic cardstock. Okay, when you have the lines just like this, what you need to do is select this holographic cardstock and we need to arrange this to the back. And now you need to ask yourself, do you like the look of this? Is your entire holographic cardstock piece going to cover your entire cutout? If that is the case, what you want to do is move your holographic cardstock away from our card. That being said, if you don't like the look of this, then you need to resize the holographic cardstock and adjust your lines to fit your holographic cardstock. Now for my card, if you use the same font as me, we are going to have an issue when we cut this out. Why? Because this A in the middle of the A and this O is going to be a free floating thing. And if we're truly not trying to use any type of glue for this project, you're going to have a card that looks like this. And if you're okay with that, then I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that these are not going to be free floating pieces, right? So I'm just going to take this holographic cardstock and I am going to copy and paste Command C and Command V. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to match it to the same color as my actual card. So we're going to come up here to this blue and I'm going to make it pink. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this itty bitty tiny little small, itty bitty, making it real small. I want it smaller than the inside portion of that A. So I'm just going to come up here. If you need to zoom in, which you probably will, you can. Until you can see the, there we go. We got it. We got an up and down arrow finally. So now I just want to make this shorter, way shorter, because we need to zoom all the way up here. All right, I want this little baby, I mean, it is going to be teeny, but it is going to make a difference. We want this little rectangle, and we want it to go from here to the very bottom of the A to the middle port, right? You don't want to make it larger than this middle thing. Then I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this small little rectangle, and I am going to drag this over here. Okay. Now for the O, I want to do it for both sides, the top and the bottom. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy and paste it again, and I'm going to drag this to the bottom just so it looks like it's supposed to be there, like a stencil font, you know, versus like it just being a random rectangle welded to my O. Okay, when you have these three pieces in place where they are going to connect the middle portion to the rest of your letters, so you want your screen to look just like this, I'm going to select all three of those little rectangle pieces, and we are going to combine and then weld. Now what you want to do is taking those welded rectangles, we're going to press shift on our keyboard. We are also now going to select the pink rectangle, which is going to be our card, and we want to combine and then weld. So now do you see how we have connection pieces here? When we cut this out on the Cricut, the Cricut is going to cut all the way around here, and it's going to leave the center of the A. So now this is what our card is going to look like, where we are not missing the centers of our letter. Again, personal preference. If you are happy with losing the insides of your letters, you totally did not have to do the step. The other thing too is if you wanted to use glue and just glue those little centers of the A and the O onto your holographic, you totally could have done that too. I just want to I just want to try not to use any type of glue for this project. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm going to drag it to the very bottom. Now what we want to do is we want to select everything that's going to be on our card. We want to select our lines, our cut lines. We want to select our score line. We want to select our pink rectangle. And what you want to do is come down here and press attach. In previous videos, I've showed you the importance of the attach, because if you chose not to press the attach, what will happen is you will go to make, and your lines are going to be anywhere and everywhere, and that's not what you want. You want the lines to be on your card. So pressing attach is really, really, really important, because then all the lines are exactly where they need to go. Now with every single card, you could leave the inside portion of this blank and just handwrite something in. However, I don't want to do that. I want the Cricut to do writing for me. Now, if you think about a person opening this card, on the right side, that's what they're going to see. When they open it up, the back side of this rectangle is traditionally where the writing or message of your card would be. If we were to place writing on this card just the way it sits, what you'll have is the front looking good, your inside blank, and then this would be the back, and your writing would be on the back. How to get your writing on the inside of your card is you want to select this, and we want to flip horizontal. It is going to look backwards for you, but that is okay, because now this right here is the inside flap of your card. Now what you could do is insert your texts. So I'm going to come over here to text, and I want my Cricut to do all the writing for me. So I'm going to come up here to operation. I'm going to change this over to pen, and then I'm going to add in my texts. Now, just like in previous videos, if you see bubble letters on your screen, your finished product will also look like bubble letters. So what you want to do is come up to font, and we want to change this. Now, if you like bubble letters, you can keep it the way it is. This is your project. You can have it customized any way you want. However, for me, I don't like bubble letters. So the easiest way to find a single lined pen font is we go up here to these lines and we want to do writing. Now everything here is going to be a single line writing font. Now all you want to do is find a font that you love the most. Okay, I like this font right here, which is a Cricut Access font. When I have that done, I am just going to come over here and I'm going to make this smaller to fit on the right side of my card. So everything that's from this score line over to the right. And just to make sure, just like what we did over here with the cutout, I want to make sure that this right here is nice and center. I am going to select my lettering and also my card, and I'm going to align this vertically. So you can see for me it shifted a little bit. That's perfect. Once you're done with your writing, all you need to do is come down here and press attach. What we just told the Cricut is hey Cricut, we want to do a score line on this pink cardstock. We want to do small little slice cuts in the corners of our pink cardstock. We also want to cut thank you and a rainbow inside our pink cardstock. And also we want to do some writing with a pen on our pink cardstock. And then we're going to have a second mat, and that second mat is going to be just cut a basic rectangle out of holographic cardstock. And now the design process is finished, and you can come up here to save and save your work. Now what we need to do is get your cardstock and let's set up our Cricut together. Just like with any other project, you want to grab a mat and the material that you're going to be working on. For me, I'm going to be using some of my holographic cardstock, just a scrap of it. And then I'm going to be using a full sheet of my light pink cardstock because I don't have a scrap small enough for this card. You're also going to need your pen that came with your Cricut, and then this scoring tool right here, which is only a couple bucks on Amazon. Now, just like with any other project, you want to put in whatever color is mat 1 on your screen. For me, it is going to be light pink, so I'm going to put light pink down into my Cricut mat. Okay, we are going to slide our Cricut down, and I'm going to load my mat into my Cricut. Now this is very important because we are going to be putting 2 tools inside of our machine today. So when we press continue and it connects to our machine, first we want to make sure that our machine is set to the correct setting for the material that we're using. For me, plain cardstock, I always set to the cardstock mode. Then what we need to do is we need to look on our screen. For the second step, it says I needed to have loaded in the scoring stylus and the fine point blade. So what I need to do first is I need to take this thing, open up side A, and put in the scoring stylus and close this clamp. Now what you want to do is press the blinking C button. Your Cricut is going to do the score line. Then what it says on your screen is take out the scoring tool, and you want to insert your pen into clamp A, waiting for it to click, and then we just close the clamp. Now what you need to do is press the blinking C button again. At this point, what the Cricut is doing is now doing the writing that we have done and chosen for our card. Now when your Cricut is done doing the writing, what it's going to do is now do all the cuts. All right, when that's done, you want to make sure and take out your pen and put the cap on so you don't dry it out. And then we just want to eject our material. Now I'm going to roll this over, and I'm going to be nice and gentle with my card so I don't have any issues with my cutouts. Perfect. Look at this. Perfect. Look at this. So when we fold this over, you're going to have the front of your card looking absolutely amazing, and then this is going to be the inside portion. Oh my gosh, this card is so cute. Okay, now I'm just going to insert my holographic cardstock onto my mat, and we're going to cut this out in our Cricut. I am going to be using my holographic cardstock, so I am going to do the Cardstock Plus, and we are just going to press the blinking C button. Now let's press the eject button. And we're gonna roll our mat away from our material. There is our sheet of holographic. Now what we want to do is we want to insert this into the cut lines that we've created. So I want to make sure that the font for the front of my card is still backwards to me. I'm going to slide the corners of my holographic cardstock into these slits. Holds it nicely into place. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my cardstock over on that score line right there. We're going to fold it over and give this a nice good hard crease. You ready for this? Look at that. We created a card all by ourselves just to show you. This is our thank you card. When we open it up, there is our writing on the inside of our card. Perfect. Didn't this just turn out so perfect? Absolutely perfect. Am I right? Am I right? Did you have so much fun creating this greeting card with me? I sure hope you did. And I sure hope that you found this video actually to be really easy and simple, because the last thing I want you to have to do is buy SVG files, because frankly, we can create our own. I mean, I created this out of a rectangle. You know, I'm pretty sure when we loaded into Cricut Design Space, you were like, a square, a score line? How are we gonna get a cool card out of a square to score line? Don't worry, I got you, boo. All right, y'all, I sure hope that you found that this was really easy, and we are now finished with project 9. So that means we are close to the end of this 10 easy projects, mastering your Cricut, and I sure hope at this point in time you feel like a Cricut master. But I can guarantee by the end of project 10, which is gonna be the next video, that you will for sure feel like one. I am so excited for you because crafting should be fun and therapeutic for all of us. I will see you on the next video.